Okay, so we're talking today about adjectives, third-declension adjectives, and also comparison of adjectives. But let's first talk about these two adjectives. One we already hinted at, we were going to talk about this one, which is megas. The word means big, okay, quite simply, and it functions in the same way. The forms are the same, show the same pattern as the word polus, polei, polu, the word that means much and many. We talked about it. That is the four corners of the paradigm. We kind of messed up the corners because we got vocative forms, but the ones that Belisi has just put the beautiful yellow asterisks next to are the ones that have third declension endings, mega, mega for the neuter, and megos and megon for the not masculine nominative and accusative singular. All the other forms have a different stem, megal, and then they're inflected like agathos, agathe, agathon. So this is the second example of a type that you will see more examples of as you get into Greek. You've got an old adjective that's been renewed with second declension or first declension adjectival forms because the third declension is irregular and older and getting displaced in as the language evolves. Okay, here's the second adjective, and this. So we're talking about the other third declension adjective, heidus, which is really, we're not talking about heidus, the word for sweet. It's actually cognate with the English word sweet. In other words, it once was suedus, okay? Become heidus. It's really a third declension adjective. It hasn't been renewed the way polus and megos have been. So it preserves the old forms. And you remember we've seen recently what happens with you as a form as a vowel before declensional endings. Belisi's amused. And that is, it becomes W and then it disappears. So remember, if the suffix after the U or the W begins with a vowel, becomes a W and then it disappears. So anyway, here are the forms of heidus, and it represents a really large class of words, right? Heidus, elrus, and so forth. So there are a lot of words that have this pattern. So there's the nominative with the S of the third declension nominatives, heidus. The third declension genitives end in os. So what happens is you get a thematized stem in the genitive and the dative that you see throughout this word. So it's, instead of being he do os, it becomes he de was and he de wi. And when the W disappears, you get he de os and he de. The accusative is he dun. The ending begins with a consonant, so the U remains a U. Notice that in the genitive, by a bunch of sound changes, it becomes he dea. So it's just the first declension feminine endings of the type thalata, okay? Except you've got an iota, so you've got alphas, long alphas throughout the singular, and then the plural is the same. So there are no surprises in heidea, heideas, and so forth. The neuter is like the masculine, okay? It's a third declension form, so there's no ending for the nominative and accusative singular, just heidu, as well as the vocative is heidu. But the genitive and the dative are the same as for the masculine forms. All right, so if we look at the plural of this word heidus, we see that all the forms are based on the stem heide with the W. Heide west became heides, okay, the W disappeared. Heide won became heideon. Heide si, okay, the W disappeared altogether. And then you have the accusative plural, heide west. It's the same form as the nominative plural. In the feminine plural, there are the predictable feminine endings for a thalata type adjective. And then in the neuter plural, you have heide wa, gives you heide a, and that's the nominative and accusative plural forms, and the genitive and the dative are the same as for the masculine. So these two forms represent large classes of adjectives. It's not just learning one, there are a lot more that are like it, and we'll get to know them.